Disclaimer, we'd like to note before the start of this interview that the opinions about to be expressed by the guest on tonight's Gettin Salty Experience podcast are that of the guest and do not directly or necessarily reflect the views of the host of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Put the fucking fire out!
You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Hello, 21 Truck Tillman joining us in the chat again tonight. Little guy gone missing for a while. Now he's back. Welcome back to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. The only one that brings the Firehouse kitchen table to you. Roofy's got the Grizzly Adams look going on, bro.
Gonzo's tan. That's
me too. Just came back from Mexico, baby.
Yeah.
6 days straight.
Shit-faced on the beach.
6 days straight.
What was your son doing to you? Putting lemon wedges in your nose?
Yeah. Well,
you got the picture?
I'm not embarrassed of this, but you know, at one point I did black out on a beach chair, and first, as you can see, first he put it in my mouth, then it was on my shoulder, then he stuck it in my nose, and then he put it on my. I never felt the thing, bro. Out for 2 hours. Woke up, there was nobody there.
Oblivious.
It was like when you go for the colonoscopy. That's how you felt, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What? We're done already? Oh wow, that was fast.
Yeah. My daughter says, "Dad, is that straight vodka in that glass?" I'm like, "Yep," and that's the last thing I remember. That was it. Oh, good times. But you know, when you're away with your son and your daughter, and they can drink now, and you can do that bonding time, bro. You know, and the little guys in the pool.
Alcohol and family. It's always good.
Always good.
Yeah.
My sister came with her kids. It was a good time. Good time to be had by all.
Yeah.
Is it me, or is when Mikey's reading that disclaimer, he sounds like he's just like exhausted almost, like when he's reading it?
He's a busy guy, man. You know, he's very busy.
He's like the thoughts and of our guests are not of that of the Gettin Salty Experience, and
maybe he was, up late. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck, it almost fell.
Where was he? He wasn't in the pre-show tonight. Where is he tonight?
No, he's been on a hiatus, as he says. He's on a hiatus.
Oh, he's on hiatus now. Oh.
I don't know what he's doing.
Listen, right now he's in the 3-4 corner doing some, overhaul or something, right? Isn't he doing? Is he on the job yet?
No, not yet. He didn't go in the academy yet. Nope.
He's still waiting.
How was your cruise, Guns?
It was actually pretty good. My wife got some feedback now on the Facebook, and a bunch of people got COVID. So thank God I didn't. I mean, I had a little scratchy throat.
COVID. Is that still around? Trump's in office. There's no more COVID.
Yeah. Still a thing. Yeah. But all in all, it was good. I mean, one of these days, you guys will join me.
You went on the upside down pineapple cruise, right? That's where you went.
Yeah. I didn't
Did
see
you?
It, but on every cruise, that's the
You're
sign. Upside down pineapple.
He's a dirty birdie.
Did you get the jab?
No.
No, I don't mean that jab. I mean
COVID shot.
No, that's what he meant. I meant the other jab.
Oh,
the cruise. You know what I mean? How you doing?
There's always a little something like, hey, no, we gotta be careful because they can hear you next door.
It's all right.
It's all right. Be quiet.
It's a place of commercials. We have to get the El Capitan in here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So Ruff is he officially got his 15-pointer. I told him today. The rest of his gravy, bro. He's going to Illinois or whatever. Like, he can let him pass him right up, If he gets a little tear in his eye or a lump in his throat and he doesn't want to kill somebody, he can say, I'll let this one go.
My bosom buddy of mine wants hot dogs, so I gotta have to.
Oh, bro, if you don't have enough, you better kill something else because I need some hot dogs.
I
need the venison hot dogs.
I got you.
All right.
All right. We're going to check out our new ad.
We have a new ad. We got a new sponsor. Love these guys.
These guys will do some good work. Let's check them out. Here we go.
Founded in 2010, Capital City Industries specializes in serving the fire service through custom helmet work, helmet sales and repairs, gear, tools, and apparel. They are a firefighter family-owned and operated company, with the majority of the crews serving in the City of Hartford Fire Department in Hartford, Connecticut. CCI's core business is with fire helmets, where they specialize in keeping that golden era old-school leather helmet fit and appearance alive and well in today's fire service. Using their own CCI liner, brass band conversion, retro brass holders, and other various parts, they take either a modern leather or plastic helmet of any age and transform it into a functional lid that is fitted to your head and looking like it came out in 1985. While fire helmets remain their own core business, CCI has also expanded to other areas of the fire service industry with their own line of CCI gear. The company brings to the market the fast-adjusting CCI radio strap built for comfort and function, along with the quick disconnect anti-sway strap and CCI's own helmet chin straps in retro military green Nomex, not seen since the 90s. CCI also has proudly re-engineered and brought back the Hartford Plaster Hook, an in-house machine shop design from the Hartford Fire Department. Phased out of service in the 1990s, the Hartford Hook has been reproduced using modern technology and materials and both a traditional wood handle and an all-metal handle. The tool predates almost all other hooks on the market today, dating back as early as the 1920s. CCI has its own apparel line, including t-shirts, hoodies, and ball caps, with designs originating from artists such as J.P. Sokolowski, 10-3 Graphics, and Black Swine Design. With most of the shop crew serving as firefighters, CCI understands the needs of today's fire service. So if you want functional gear, a retro plaster hook, or your helmet serviced by a company that is tried and true, choose Capital City Industries. By firemen, for firemen.
Nice.
He ain't lying.
They were selling the shit out of those things at the trade show we went to, bro.
Yeah, they were next to us.
Good job. They make your helmet fits like you were saying, like the old ones.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Were you related to that guy, that artist, Sokolotsky? Didn't he just say that on the thing? Famous artist, Sokolotsky? No, I'm telling you, he said that.
I ain't falling for that shit.
I'm not falling for nothing. He just said.
I thought he said his name was Hal. How'd you like a kick?
Did he?
Haywood.
All right, come on, Haywood. Play the next one before we lose Captain Grant out there.
We're already falling off the rails. All right, here we go. We'll do Armor Tough. Here we go.
Need a new floor for your fire station? Choose an Armor Tough interlocking flooring system to cover your aging, stained, cracked concrete or epoxy floor. Armor Tough has been around for nearly 20 years and has proven to be the best choice in renovating your station's floors, covering nearly 600 floors across the country. Proudly made in America, Armor Tough comes with a lifetime warranty and are usually installed in 1 or 2 days, depending on the size of your station, with virtually no disruption in your station's operation. Our system is guaranteed from chipping, cracking, peeling, breaking, or staining. The tiles are stain resistant and impervious to chemicals or volatiles that are used in the fire service. Damage one tile, lift and replace without anyone knowing. And once installed, your floor would be easy to clean with just soap and water. Is your current floor slippery? Eliminate the slip with Armor Tough.
You asked me what the friction coefficient is, Professor Gubler? Well, here it is. Fiddle-fat. Poppycock fiddle-fat. The friction coefficient.
Didn't I tell you to edit that part out, you dick? Yes. By the way, the guy from Capital Helmet, that guy has his own towel on it. Procaccini and I were driving it around. Procaccini was driving that thing like he stole it, bro.
Yeah, call him up. Tell him use code SALTY. You want to ride to your next dinner with your wife.
Yeah,
50% off. 50%.
Listen, with Vince too. Did you see the logos? Free. You get it in your Firehouse. He gives you all the logos on the floor for free. That's right. Free. Fireman's favorite word, free.
Free.
All right, let's go, Ruffy. Bring the man in here.
All right, you ready, guns?
Yes, let's do this.
All right, coming to the stage, our longtime friend, FDNY Captain Timmy Grant.
Woo!
Well, man. Going heavy there.
What are you sipping on over there, Cap?
Gin and juice.
Cap, what do you got there? What are you sipping on?
I can't hear you. Oh, that's a little bourbon.
That's a little bourbon.
Turn my volume.
What do you got, Ro?
I got a little Redbreast.
Oh, Robin Redbreast?
Irish whiskey from my Irish friend.
Redbreast, not because they've been smacked around a little bit, but
Yeah,
my favorite Irish.
I'm out. I'm going through withdrawals right now. It's great.
I got water.
I can't drink another thing. I swear. I thought about it when he raised that glass before the cap. I'm like, oh man, that was good.
I can't do that.
it does.
I really can't.
I got more poison in my body than you can drink. Okay.
Yeah, I'm shaking.
I'm right there with you.
Let's get patriotic before we dive into the captain's career here.
All right, there we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And there you go. So before we get started with the captain's career, I'm going to throw this out to the chat. I want them to play detective tonight. And maybe they can take two things and figure out how they go together. I'm not going to say, but the first one in the chat to say maybe how Captain Grant maybe got some places that he got. You put the two things together and you say it out down the chat, and we'll send you some free stickers. There you go. No, not even that. Nope. Well, anyway, Cap, welcome to this ridiculous show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the early days of the Grants. Where were you born? Where you from? What's the family like? Family life back then?
Well, my father claims that the whole planet is originally from the Bronx. I'm sure there's a lot of Brooklyn people that would think differently, but I was actually born in Manhattan. My mother lived in the Bronx, but then right after I was born, we moved up to Carmel. So I grew up in Carmel, New York. It's about an hour north of the city. I think a lot of you guys know Carmel. Some people say Carmel, but people that live in Carmel say Carmel.
Carmel.
Yeah, Carmel.
Is that close to you, Roof?
Caramel?
Not too far.
No,
he's on the other side of the river.
The other side of the river. Yeah.
But he went to school with Yodes, my cousin Yodice.
Oh,
right. Yeah, we went to Carmel.
And Jamie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Jamie was closer to my age, and then I think Mike was maybe 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, a couple years older. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. We figured that out one day when we were sitting there BSing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So your father was originally from the Bronx then?
Yeah. Parents, my whole family is originally from the Bronx. I mean, before Ireland originally, but then everybody was in the Bronx. And I went to Carmel High School.
Big family, brothers and sisters.
I have one. I got one brother who's on the job. He's still working.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit young. He's 5 years younger than me. He was in 47 engine. Then he went to 113 truck as a lieutenant. Now he's in the Marine Division now.
Whole family's
a
rats.
rat. Whole family's rat.
So
was Dad a fireman?
No.
Oh, man. So all right. So what brings you?
Fire department. I knew nothing about the fire department. I mean, absolutely zero about the fire department. When I was in high school, my friend Vinny came into school with all the applications for everybody. You know, and there was like 12 of us that went down and took the test together. And, if you look back in time now, I was the only one that took the fire department. Vinny became a Putnam County sheriff. And I was the only guy that became a fireman. But I knew, and when I was in Probie school, you could tell I knew nothing, man. I was just absolutely clueless about the entire.
Jimmy and I think our careers. When he sent me his timeline, our career is pretty mirrored. Like he got on, I think he got on the class after me. I got out
July of '93.
Yeah, I got on in May and June.
Did you have Kieran Brosnan in your class?
Yes, Kieran sat next to me. He went to 33 truck. Yes, I remember that.
75. Yeah, he was the 75 with me. Yeah.
He sat right next to me. Good friend of mine.
Yeah. How did he get the 33 truck? Just,
Well, we don't know anything. We don't know that. We're gonna let
we don't know that.
Figure that out.
I've never done this before.
Right. Yep. So did Dad have a brogue and everything? Was he right from Ireland? Pop?
What's that?
Did your dad speak with a brogue and everything?
No. My dad's not from Ireland. No, his parents from Ireland.
All right.
Both of his parents. So I'm actually in the process of getting my Irish citizenship now because
Jimmy goes there all the time. I mean, since I know him, he's been going there a
really?
lot. Yeah,
I go a lot.
Irish.
I go a lot.
What part of Ireland?
I go all over Ireland. I mean, I'll text you a picture of all. I just did up a whole map of all the pubs I've been to. And my last trip, I just celebrated my 150th pub in Ireland.
Come on.
Holy crap. That's some pub crawl, man.
You always get a Guinness?
It took
you
a
always
little
get a
while to
Guinness?
get there.
Tim, you always get a Guinness when you go there?
Oh, yeah. Love
Got
it.
it, right?
Oh,
Different too,
150
man. It tastes so much
pubs.
better over there. It does.
Wow.
It really does. I don't know if it's in my head or what, but it does taste
So good when it touches your lips. It's just so good.
If any of my Irish buddies are listening on this, they'll be saying, "Of course it's better. Of course it's better.
Of course it's better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So 93, what were you doing before you got on the job?
So right after high school, I went to Cortland for 5 years. I finally got out.
It's like jail.
Yeah, no, that was not jail.
No, that was not jail.
I loved Cortland. So I went to Cortland, and then after Cortland, me and a bunch of guys went out to the Hamptons for the summer. Got a house out there. As soon as the summer was over, I went out to Vail to ski for the winter. And while I was out there, I got the call they call you. The first thing they do right before you get hired is the psychological, right? Is that when they do the psychological?
Yes, correct.
I'm having a lot of issues with remembering stuff sometimes, but yeah. So they call me back for the psychological.
Pubs that you crawl to that has
Yeah,
a little
that was later. So I got called back for the psychological, and I took that psychological test. That was actually interesting because you remember that thing, right? It's like 700 questions, but there's only like
they ask you the same question like
questions.
50 million times. They ask you the same
50
question
million times. So just as a prior to me even getting on the fire department, when I was in high school, we used to go to these this trestle by a reservoir, and we'd jump. In the summertime, we would jump off into the water, and used to have to climb up really high. And one of these psychological questions was, do you like to jump from high places? I'm reading this like, all right, I'm going to be a fireman, and they're asking me, am I afraid of heights? Like, that's how I was taking it. So I answered yes. I like to jump from high places. so
they meant on the concrete,
like from a 50-story building, off yourself.
So I get called back. I get called back for a second psychological. They call me back, and they're like, so you like to jump from high places? I had to explain that, what I used to do, because we used to do that a lot, because right by where I lived, it was you had lakes that had big heights, diving rocks that you could jump off of. So we were always doing that growing up as kids. So I took the question the wrong way.
So you read into the question.
I read into it.
Those reservoirs.
My first learning thing on taking a fire department test.
Lie.
Lie your ass off.
Oh shit!
So any notables in your Probie class with you?
Yeah, I had Bronco. Everybody knows Bronco. Matty Long. Jimmy Brosey was my. We shared the locker right next to it. The only thing I remember about Probie school, and this is no joke, I don't remember anything about Probie school. All I remember is laughing. All I did was laugh, and Jimmy Brosey made me laugh constantly. That guy was so funny.
You had Sacamano out there when you were there.
Sacamano, yeah.
McJunkin was my favorite guy out there.
McJunkin, yeah.
He was freaking awesome. Great. That guy.
He was great.
The little guy used to say, "I'll step on your cock."
Hip hop. Yeah, he was good. He was great. Trying to think who else from my Probie class. Mike Kane, Chris Jensen, Chris Burak. Those are guys that I kept in touch with over the years.
So you go in there, absolutely nothing, and they pick that out right away. They're like, yep.
I knew nothing. I knew nothing. But you just close your mouth and
right.
Do your
All right,
thing.
so here comes the.
I knew it was coming.
Go ahead.
How in God's name, for a guy who knows nothing, who his friend Vinny gave him a cheat sheet, goes to 75 engine at a Probie school?
Forget about it.
My father had a friend of his that worked out at the gym with Mike Everett, And
I was gonna ask
Worked
you,
out at the
Everett.
gym.
Mike Everett was the connection.
One of my favorite guys, Captain Everett.
Yeah. And you know what? It's the way it worked out. I went to 75 and he was in 33. He got promoted a couple years after I was there. And then we worked together back in 41. I was a lieutenant there. He was captain.
Right.
What a guy.
Didn't he go to 44 too, though? Like
That was
he
the best story ever.
Best story ever.
That was the best story ever. He's like, I was beating 33 in, and he's like, where I would kill people when I was at 33. It was 33 or nothing.
Yeah.
Then I get promoted. I go over to 44, which was the arch enemy, right? And now I'll run 33 off the road, right?
Yeah.
It was like the best. Oh, it's the best story ever.
Yeah.
And it's so
He
true.
was,
Wherever you're
and,
at.
and you know Shecky? Kevin O'Hagan?
No, I don't know.
He's in the pipe band. I think he used to drive Everett crazy. Everett called. I think Everett was working in the engine one day. I might have this story wrong, but I think he was working in the engine one day and they needed the suction. It was an EMS run and they needed the suction, and Kevin walked up with the suction.
Oh no!
Whoops!
I might have that story wrong.
That's not going to fit in his mouth.
This is the stuff I forget.
So you get over to 75.
What's it like walking in there the first day?
You know what? I'll remember my coming out of Probie school your last day, and you going to visit the Firehouse for the first time. And I remember coming down. I remember driving down the concourse, and I knew that area of the Bronx because that's where my grandmother lived. So I'm driving down the concourse, and 75 engine is going the opposite way, flying on a run, and I see the American flag flying behind the rig, and I was like, wow, that's where I'm working. I know it's just something about the flag, and at that time, I'm fairly sure that's the only rig that had the American flag flying behind it. That wasn't a thing.
Right.
It became a thing. They actually were trying to I don't know if it was when I first went to 75, Jerry Hall was the captain, and then Dennis Devlin became the captain. Dennis Devlin passed on 9/11, but Dennis was the captain, and he was ordered by one of the I'm not going to say any names.
Take it off, right?
He was ordered to take it off.
And then everybody did it.
They said it was improper display of the American flag. Whatever.
I remember that.
Dennis,
I remember that.
you remember that? So Dennis actually went to some like national. I don't know if it's the VFW or he went to some organization that would know the rules for that, and it came back that it was being displayed properly, and then you saw flags.
I remember when I was in 117. I remember when we put that rig on. We had two little ones that were on the handholds in the back.
Yeah.
And I remember every time you would come back, like one would, over time, a couple of weeks, it would fall, get ripped or something, and we would put new ones on there all the time after that. I remember that.
I loved it, man. I mean, it was the first time I ever seen 75. I don't know where. I didn't even know where I'm going. I'm driving. We didn't even have GPS back then. I'm like, okay, 183rd Street. I make a right here. I never went south to Briggs Avenue. That's where my grandmother lived.
They just recently had that again when they forced companies to take that off their rig, like within the last.
I don't know if that was true. It was the blue line flag, I think, or something, and there was some shenanigans. I don't know if that was entirely true.
It's
I
in
think
the newspaper. The Post had it in the newspaper.
Yeah, I don't know if that was entirely 100%, but I could be wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So you walk in the Firehouse, and who's there? Who the first guys?
So another guy from my Probie class was Jay Walsh, and we both went to 75. There's two of us that went to 75, and Jay knew a lot more about the job than I did. He was a fireman. I think he was a lieutenant. He might have been. I don't know if he was a lieutenant, but he worked in Connecticut, and he came to New York. He was a big buff. He used to ride with Rescue 3. I guess years ago. I never even understood any of that.
Right.
What do you mean you ride? I had no clue.
For free.
So, and Jay also used to have. He was a photographer, and I don't know if you remember. There used to be a calendar that came out every year. He was pretty good at that. And I think he used to sell a lot of calendars. Anyway, me and him.
Lou and Coobs were both in it.
What's that?
No, I think Lou and Coobs were both in it.
So we went to 75 together, and we were mutual partners, because we were both probies. And I don't, Kieran went there. Kieran went to Probie school with you, but I think, between Kieran and me and Jay, it was like the first probies that went there in a while, if I remember correctly.
They all went to the engine.
What's that?
They all went to the engine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There was 3 of us there. You know, Kieran had 3 more months than us. Who's in that picture? This is a little bit later. This is like 97, I'd say. All the way on the right there, that's Berger. Berger just passed away. He was my bud, man. I was one of the pallbearers at his funeral. That was
Where are you in this picture?
Second from the left.
Yeah, second from the left.
Oh shit! Right.
Yeah. And that's Tony Krimick there. He was a Probie there. That's me and Matt Hansen, Dave O'Donnell, Tony Ventrella, and Berger.
How long did it take you to get your first job?
Berger, let me tell you something, man. The job had lots of guys that could break balls. That guy was like a master. and I, being in the bagpipe band, there was guys there too. We'll get to that. But, in my career, I definitely had the pleasure of being around the guys who were so good at breaking balls. And it just, whether it was me or anybody else, you weren't hanging out if you had thin skin with these people. You know what I mean? But it was
and that's legit. Like, you could say that, but that's like legit. Like, you were not hanging out with some of these guys. A lot of kitchens are very tough, man.
Yeah.
I think it's just different today. Honestly, you hate to say, today, when I was on, but there's no comparison, I don't think, to how the kitchen was then to and forget about
it's different. It's different. It's so many things.
You say a lot more shit than you can now, obviously.
So many things are different now. But listen, guys are always saying, "Oh, change." Everything is changing. No matter where you're at any point in time. We came on 93, right? Think about, like, we were doing really good with fires, but every single person that you met there that was there 10 years before that, they're like,
it sucks.
You should have been here 10 years ago.
You're late to the fucking thing. Yeah, exactly.
So you get used to what you have, and
everything is relative, man.
Everything is relative, and I said, don't be afraid of the change. It happens. Hopefully it's going to change slow, but you got to realize change happens.
Yeah. But for the normal people, they can't grasp what it's like to be at the kitchen table, man, of what goes on.
My God.
They just don't get it. It's just hard to get it if you're not a fireman.
Yeah. I know a couple guys, that have told their wives a couple things, and they just don't get that. Like, what do you mean?
I'm out 10 years in my wife's.
What's so funny about that?
Firehouse. It's not funny. This is not the fun.
When I was in college, I played rugby in college, and there was a thing we had called spoon fights, and it's a pretty good gimmick. Like everybody's in on the joke except for the one guy that's not in on the joke, and so I kind of brought that into the bagpipe band, and I remember we did it to we were out in Dallas. I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but it's
all right.
We'll get back to it. It's all right.
We're in Dallas for the Dallas Giant game, and we have a big tailgate, and we end up doing this spoon fight things, and it's Mike McPaulin's son, Mike McPaulin, who's in 44 truck. So it's 2 guys. It's the spoon fight champion, who I was the champion, and everybody knows who the champion is. The guy who doesn't, Mike McPaulin, knows nothing about it, and you're hitting each other on the head with a spoon, and you can't hurt somebody hitting them. The spoon is in your mouth.
That's what you do. But meanwhile, somebody's behind him, smacking him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Liam Flaherty's with a ladle in the back of the head, and everybody sees it.
Oh, but then he has to do it to you. Right, Timmy? He has to put the spoon in his mouth and hit you on the head, and then he turns around and then you whack him.
Every time he hits me, I go, oh man, that hurts,
That is, I've never heard of that.
It is on YouTube. I think if you look up,
I've seen that before.
FDNY Dallas.
And if you watch the guys, Kev, like, you put a wood spoon and you go, and you can only do it like he said. It's only this.
Right, but there's somebody behind you whacking you.
But I had a little gimmick. I used to have it was actually a piece of cancer that they took off eventually. But I had this bump on the top of my head. And I would know sometimes if that spoon came in the right way, it could cut that thing. So I would make it bleed. And now I'm like, holy shit, this guy's good. He's making me bleed, and everybody's going nuts. You got Tommy Killian in the background taking notes. He's taking bets. I got $10 on him. I got
a bare knuckle fight.
The only person that does not know what's going on is
the poor sap that's not in on it.
The guy, yeah.
Oh,
so
God, fucking awesome.
It's pretty funny, man. But going back to why I brought that up is, there's like some guys have said to their wives or I don't understand. How is that funny?
Yeah. They don't get it.
Clown, I amuse you.
Yeah, Patty Lee says if you walked into 124's kitchen, the first thing you did was cover your nuts.
Oh shit!
The brothers are.
Who were the guys there, Tim, when you first got there that stuck out to you a lot? Like who were you working with?
In 75 and 33?
Yeah.
You know what, Louis? I really can say this honestly. Everybody stuck out. Everybody had. I loved working there. It was such a. As they say in Ireland, it was brilliant. It was just a brilliant. No, it was absolutely, you have a guy like Berger who controls the tempo. I'm not saying only him. Everybody had their place, and you had the guy that really put the hammer down when it needed to be put down, but it's just like the way everything just worked. I would say I was there for 9 years before I got promoted. And those 9 years to me, like everybody got along. And another thing about those 9 years, there was really, really not a lot of turnover. It was definitely a big study house, but one lieutenant's list had just sort of like ended, kind of like Everett and Brian Fink. And there was a certain group that had just gotten promoted off that last list, the screwed up list with the 800 million questions. And then I don't know. It was like 9 years of like working with the same guys, and you know how awesome that is.
Yeah,
it was very rare you had a new guy come in anywhere. But I always say it. Me and Tony Ventrella always have this conversation. It was that some group, and I'm sure every 5 years later, 10 years later, guys were saying the same thing about their little niche. But for me, from my point of view and my perspective, every single guy in that house stuck out because it was just a great place to work. A great fireman.
Going to work, funny, right? Crazy work.
It was all, yeah. My first year was the busiest year. It was absolutely the busiest year. And I mean, talk about great firemen. There's, how some guys remember, like they can remember, this address that they had this fire at it was on this day. I only have one fire that I actually know the address, the date, the time, everything. And it was when I was a Probie. It was 2170 University Avenue, and I almost died. We were in a flashover. And Kevin Callan, he was in the engine at that time. He went to the truck later. I had the nozzle, and he was backing me up, and we lost water in the fire department, and it flashed. And Kevin had me by the ankle, and our chins were on the floor, and we inched out. It was a very, very long. It was a project type building, so getting out of that hallway was tough. And here, Berger, I told this story at Berger's funeral. Berger never went to medal day, and he should have for that particular fire. He had the door position, and he held that position at the door, and he got everybody out of that hallway. And if he was not at that door position and reaching in to get everybody up, because it was January 13th. It was freezing cold out, like 3:00 in the morning. And as soon as I got water, the OV took the window. The wind came. This was like wind-driven fire to a T. Took the window. We lost water. It just it just happened like that. I'm a Probie. I'm thinking, all right, I guess this is the way all fires go. I don't know, But Kevin Callan and especially Berger being in the right position, they saved. I've said it my whole career. They saved my life. My helmet was absolutely cooked to pieces, and I was a Probie. 3 weeks after that fire was the maybe it was 4 weeks later. It was the Hunter Mountain ski races, and I'm
And
going
you show up there.
I'm going up the chairlift, and I'm going up the chairlift with a guy that I don't even know, and he looks over at me and he says, "So, how many years have you been a Probie?" Because my helmet was like completely cooked, and I said, we had a bad fire, but yeah, everybody in that house, great firemen, and you know what? I'll say this today, they're still great firemen. I know that for a fact, man. They have great freaking officers. It's just a great house. I don't know. I can't even say anything more about it. It makes me feel proud. We go back to our Christmas reunion every.
I was going to ask you, do you go back? Yeah.
Yeah. Since I've been in the company, the first Friday of every December is our reunion, and you get anywhere from 120 to 150 guys that show up, and that tells you something right there, right?
Tradition, right there. Man.
But the guys, the officers, Brian Currid for one. Brian, he wants to make it a point to talk to guys that were in that house before, to explain to them how well they're doing and how great the guys are and how great the firemen are, and you know how great that is. I mean, it fills you with pride knowing that that's where you came from.
I put my paper in for 33 truck. Did you know that?
Just gonna blurt that out, Roof.
I guess
I went up to see Captain Finnemore.
I guess it was before you knew Everett.
Yeah, I went to see Captain Finnemore twice, actually. What they used to call him, Fun No More or something like that.
Fun No More.
Yeah. But and then the squad thing came up, so I went with that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think I would have probably went to the truck at some point.
Yeah. So actually, when I was studying for lieutenant, I started studying. I guess, I would. When was our lieutenant's test? That was in 97. 97. So I'm studying in 96. We get on the job in 93. Now I'm studying for lieutenant in 96. I had a great study group, but it was run by Billy McGinn. Billy McGinn was he was a lieutenant in 48 Engine.
Yeah, I know that.
And he was studying for captain. So he ran our study group, and it was 5 of us. It was me, Kieran Brosnan, Jerry Tucker, Patty McNally, and Steve DeLockery. We met we weren't fire tech guys. I didn't even know where fire tech was. We met every Thursday night. We never missed a Thursday for an entire year. And Billy McGinn was the guy that got us promoted. He was very, very sharp. And, he went to Squad 18 and ended up dying on 9/11. But great freaking guy. Very, very sharp.
So you spend quite a while in the engine, huh? 7 years in the engine?
How was Eddie?
Yeah.
How was Eddie Z-Man? How was the Z-Man over there?
Oh, the Z-Man?
Was he absolutely out of his mind?
33?
I tell you, back then he was even nuttier than he is now. He was nuts, man. He was nuts. I was doing I think I was doing my 30-day detail. Either it was I think we did a 30 or 60-day detail in the truck.
30 days. Yeah.
Yeah, 30-day detail. And we were up on the Grand Concourse, and the officer was Jimmy Gill. And some firemen rub officers. They could rub them the wrong way sometimes. And Z-Man used to get under Jimmy Gill's under his nerves. So yeah. We're going down the Grand Concourse, and Z-Man climbs up. We're driving. I don't know. We're not responding to anything, but he goes up. He gets up on the roof of the cab, and he leans down.
God, that ain't happening in FLA, is it?
Oh, hell no.
And we pulled up.
It is. I don't know about it.
There was like a carnival going on. And
That's
he's like,
awesome.
"Come on, we're getting on the Ferris wheel." And it's in the middle. There's like 2 H-type buildings right next to each other. The Ferris wheel's right in the middle. And so you're going up, and like you could look in windows, and there's people like looking out. And Z-Man, just because he's the Z-Man, man. I love him. But it's me and him in the car, and every time the Ferris wheel goes up, he's screaming at the top of his lungs like he's scared, But he's not scared. But he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and all these people are out at the windows like, "What's going on?"
That's awesome.
So funny. It was great.
I was gonna say, before you went to the truck, though, you got in the band.
Yes.
Right? In '95.
Yeah, I got in the band so I couldn't learn while I was on probation. So right after I came off probation, I bought my chanter, and I got a private instructor, and you know, I really like practiced a lot, and I got in the band pretty quick. I bought my chanter in August, and my audition was in January. That January, and
So is that how it works? You audition for the band, and
yeah, it can take anywhere from, you know, it could take a year, 2 years. Some people more. But I did start learning the chanter when I was a kid, so that kind of helped a little bit. But once I discovered girls, I wasn't playing.
Chanter went to the side. Yeah,
wasn't playing the chanter anymore.
So, did you always know that you wanted to be in a band, though, since you got on the job?
I always liked the bagpipes. I remember even when I was in college, I had an artist draw a leprechaun playing the bagpipes, and I was gonna get it on my leg, but I ended up not getting it. But I always liked the bagpipes, and growing up, my father had the original record of the bagpipe band, and he used to play it all the time with his Irish music on a Friday night, and so I kind of knew all of the songs in my head. When I went and got a private instructor, he says, "All right, what song do you want to learn first?" And I hummed the song to him, the one that goes ah, nah, nah, you know, and so we started learning that, and it was good to have a private instructor because it definitely helped me learn a lot faster.
What's it like being in that, like, first you're in the FDNY, for God's sakes, right? And like you said, the pride that comes along with that, and that whole entity, right? It's like incredible. And then to be in the pipe band, in the Emerald, you know, the Emerald Society pipe band, in the FDNY, and then starting to do parades and doing that shit. I mean,
he's living the fucking Irish dream.
I mean, listen, man, doing. As an Italian dude, when I used to see the fucking pipe band coming, no matter where I was, if it was unfortunately at a funeral, if it was at St. Patty's Day, if it was the fucking pipes were coming, bro, my hair stands up. And that's how it's just a prideful thing, right? So that has to be incredible for you to watch people looking at you with that pride, right? I mean, it's got to be like
it's kind of what got me to do it. You know, the first time I saw Jimmy Corcoran marching into one of our, I don't know if it was a Memorial Day or I think it was Memorial Day. It probably was. It was probably when we came on, and I went to 75 in October of '93 after graduating Probie school. And then that would have been the first Memorial Day that I would have went to.
Yeah, because he passed away the following year, right?
He passed away in March of '95.
All right, so
it would have been a year after. So my first parade in St. Patrick's Day parade was his last. He died in my first parade. It's tradition for us to bring a bottle of whiskey, you know, to celebrate your, you know, coming into the band. We always do that. And all my whiskey, we were toasting to Jimmy because he died at the end of the parade.
I remember I was at what was it, at the Armory, right, or something like that?
Yeah, we used to have we used to have our party at the Armory, and when we got back to the Armory after the parade, because he had passed away on the platform of the subway station, you know, before making his way down to the China.
Right. I remember hearing all that when we were there.
But anyway, it was seeing him marching in with the band that October. And then and I said, I got to do this. That was kind of what set that ball in motion. And then I see Bronco. You know, I'm friends with Bronco. We went to Probie school together. I see him. Bronco was a drummer, and he was already in the band because by Medal Day, by the following July, which is the time we just came off probation, right? Wait, is Medal Day June or July? That's June.
June,
yeah. So regardless, Bronco was already in the band, and he had already been in a bagpipe band prior to being in our band. So he had an extra leg up. So I spoke to him, and he introduced me to Tommy McEnroe, who was the pipe major at the time, and that was how I got the ball rolling to get in. But what I said before about 75 and 33 and the tightness of the guys.
Oh my God, that's so. Those guys are so tight.
That's
man.
how I felt in the band. So now, like,
I agree.
I'm overwhelmed with freaking greatness. I mean, the people, the guys. Just Gene Frere. Gene Frere was, I speak very highly of Berger and, his ball breaking ability and everything. Gene Frere, I'll go on the record right now. I know there's a lot of funny men on the fire. I know there's been extremely funny people on this job. I will go on record as saying that man was the funniest man that ever walked. Because it's not only was he like talented at just breaking people's balls, but he was that guy that could say anything, anywhere to anybody and get away with it. Like I remember one time we were up in Albany and there's all bigwigs at this thing, everybody except the governor, and he was roasting everybody at the table, and everybody's laughing. He just had
where was he from,
act.
Jimmy?
What
company was he from?
Well,
you remember?
Gene was, I know, like, I know that he was an 81 engine long time ago, but then he retired as a fire marshal. He was a fire marshal when he retired. He was a lot older. He died just before 9/11, like months before 9/11.
Wow.
But he, when I came in the band, there was a certain group of guys that he took under his wing, and talk about being proud again. I mean, it was myself. I don't want to get into it, but it was a group of guys that he just kind of, younger guys, and he took it. He was the older guy, and he took us on our way, and just felt really good, to be part of something like that. But it wasn't just him. It was, I mean, you had, just
who was the guy we had on? Who was the crazy guy, Coobs, that had the tattoo? McTeague.
That's Tommy McTeague. Tommy McTeague. So Tommy McTeague's son, Tommy, got in the band with me. So we have a thing in the band where you're a son of a member. If he's not on the fire department, a son of a member can be in the band. So Tommy McTeague's son, who was in the military at the time, he was at I think he graduated from West Point.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
A pilot. He was a pilot. I think he was a I don't know if he was a helicopter. I think he was a helicopter pilot. But Tommy unfortunately got leukemia. He had beat it the first time, but it got him the second time. And but he was my age, and we had got in the job. But Tommy he's another crazy one.
Oh, he was
crazy.
Remember when
crazy, bro.
Did you ever see he used to drive around a little Volkswagen? He was a Rescue 3 guy, and he used to drive. He had a
he sent us the picture when he came on.
3 on the side of his Volkswagen, and it had a freaking scaling ladder hooked to the top of the roof. And we were at one metal day. It was one metal day, and he pulls up and he grabs Von Essen. Von Essen's the commissioner at the time. He grabs Von Essen and throws him in the car. Von Essen gets in the car with him, and they're flying down the road, Riverside Avenue.
He came on the bathrobe. Remember, he was wearing.
He came on in the bathrobe.
Yeah.
We had to show it him. He came on in the bathrobe.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
Well, that's a big commitment, though, to band, right? I mean, it's a lot of time. Yeah.
Huge commitment, especially for the younger guys and everything. Like I still go to stuff, but I'm not at. I try to go to a couple things when I can. It's a great organization. I'm very proud to be part of it, and the guys are.
Liam has done an incredible job too, right? I mean, he's
Liam's. When Jimmy Corcoran passed away, it was kind of we had a tryout for who was going to be the next guy, and it had to be Liam. It had
just
to be
a big dude.
There was a million reasons. He's a big dude. He's got presence. He at the time he had the most. We used to have points for you show up at things. Liam, he had the most points. He probably was the most Irish guy in the band. Both of his parents from Ireland. Traveled to Ireland all the time. I actually been to Ireland with him to his mother's house. I met his grandmother numerous times. Both passed by now, but he was the right choice. That was an interesting night too. It was pretty funny.
Now, those guys are those
Fred,
guys in the band? Do they play an instrument? Those guys who become to that position? Is that where they choose?
Well, Liam is a piper.
Okay, so they're already in the band and they play something, and then they move to that next progression.
Yeah, well, that was, I mean, so the pipe, the drum, with Liam's the drum major, right? So that position is a lifelong position. That's, you know, as long as he wants. That's not a part of the board.
Right.
So that's his position. You know,
I remember watching the video of the documentary when you guys reached whatever was it 50 years or something, like you guys just had a documentary.
50 years. There was the 50 year.
What a documentary that was. I don't remember who did that.
Yeah, Timmy Garrity did a great job with that.
Yeah,
Timmy, that's one of Timmy's like into the whole video production thing even before the job.
I've been trying to get Ed Garrity. I've been trying to get Ed on the show.
Oh, he's great. That's his dad. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get him on the show.
There's a little bit of a height difference there.
Yeah. I'm good friend. I work with Beatty.
Oh,
Beatty.
Matty.
Yeah.
Good people.
All right, so let's get back to get over to 33 truck in 2000. A lot of guys sliding across the floor. You just felt it was your time to go there. Or?
Well, I was on the lieutenant's list, so you know, it was just kind of the thing you wanted to, you know, try and get some truck experience before you get promoted. Now, that's actually interesting. That I get over there and the list is moving. It's going nowhere. That list was going absolutely nowhere. I did not think. Well, Louis, you're the same. We got promoted together, so
yeah, we were in the same class.
I did not think that we were getting promoted at all. So I actually started studying again.
We were doing the what's the thing? The coalition, right? We used to have the when you were on the list, right? You used to do what the hell did they call that?
Yeah,
Eddie Eddie Balls was right. I came on with Eddie, so I was close with him. He started the
what is that called? The provisionals? No.
Yeah, like when you're going to get promoted, you're on the list and you're trying to get promoted.
Yeah, everybody's bucking up money so that if you have to hire a lawyer or something to fight to.
Right, or you would go to like these political things so that you would go give out flyers for these guys so that they would push for the list to get to the end. The eligibles. Son of a bitch, I'm getting old.
Tough to get old there, Roof.
Shit.
Too much time in
Thank you there, Sano.
So I didn't think I was going to get promoted. I actually, at that time too, I was thinking about going to Rescue 4 because at the time, you know, me, Liam and Bronco, we were all really tight in those days. And they were in Rescue 4. So I was thinking, all right, I'm not getting promoted. I had talked to, some of the guys there. John Gain was the senior guy there. And I talked to him about it. And then 9/11 happens. And then that changed everything. They started promoting, me and Louis got promoted. Was it like 8 or 9 months after 9/11?
It was July of 2002.
June
of 2002.
June 2nd, 2002. That's when we got, So.
And we had a lot of guys. We had a lot of
two
guys.
Classes. Right,
we had a lot of guys.
I remember George Johnson was up in the upstairs section. I forget who else was up with him.
We had Billy Ryan. We had a lot of
guys.
Billy
Ryan, yeah.
We had a bunch of guys. Billy Redden was in there.
Oh, Billy Redden. I remember.
So this is something I remember. I don't even know if Timmy remembers this, but we had so many sock guys and we were, again, it was ball breaking all the time, right? And you'd have to stand up and pick a thing out of the can, and you'd have to talk about something for 3 minutes. You didn't even know what the hell you were going to pick out, right?
Oh, right.
And stand up in front of the thing. And Tim would break balls about the sock guys, right? He was a Bronx guy, 33 truck. He would break a sock ball, sock, whatever, I'm available 10-8, whatever, Don't you know, like, after I go to 290 in December of 2002, all of a sudden I see this son of a bitch went to sock.
He just told you he was headed there. You know that.
He didn't. So he was breaking balls, but he already knew, right? He never let on. He was good.
Yeah. Well, in my defense, I did have. I was told early in my career that you don't even think about going to sock until you have 10 years on a job.
Correct.
So that was my ball breaking thing.
No, I got you.
Yep.
Well, I do remember that, seeing you. I don't remember. We'll go through the timeline that's coming up, but I do remember.
Yeah.
That was a weird time. We actually took, Timmy, did you didn't get promoted off of that? Did you take that test?
Which test?
The captain's test? We took the captain's test.
Oh, we took the captain's test while we were in flips. Yeah.
Did you get on the list?
No. And I didn't get promoted off the next. I took 3 captain's tests. The one after that, the one that I did study for, was the one that the men who we shall not name wrote that bullshit test. And it was like, past tests where there was your handful of gimmies, then you had your handful of like real, hard questions, and then there was your fluff in the middle. You had to be a studier, but they weren't, they were straightforward questions. But that one test, was so hard. And
the test that we would have,
whoever wrote that test, I feel like the guys who wrote that, every single question they said, how can we screw them here? How can we screw them here? How can we screw them here? It was such a hard test, and only 200 people passed it. And with ties, I think it was 210. Dominic Bertucci was the last guy to get promoted off that list.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think his list number was 210, something like that. Wow. And normally they would promote 400.
Yeah, that test in school that time, that was like, again, nobody was really studying. I mean, we were down at down at ground zero, all that stuff, but there were guys studying for that test. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I think I got like a 60 something on that test, and I didn't even study 1 minute. But we had to take it because we were promoted one day. As long as you were promoted one day, in rank, you could take the test. And I think it was like a week or two later or something.
Well, the third one that I took, the third after the hard one, which was only 2 years later, because they only had 200 people to promote on that one. 2 years later, they gave another test. So that one I barely studied for, but that's the one I got promoted off of. But I remembered everything from the first time I studied, and the guys that were in my study group break my balls because they say I decided to renovate my kitchen at the same time, and which
they ain't lying.
That's it. They ain't lying.
They ain't lying.
It's all right.
Did you catch
it all worked out.
When you went over to the truck, did you catch good work before you got promoted?
While I was in the truck, I mean, the whole time I was there, I always did very well. I did well there. I probably got more job. My first part of my career in 75 is when I got the most work, because things started to
tail off a little bit,
fizzle off a bit. But it was in the beginning there when it was still crazy. Wayne Holleran was a senior man. I respect Wayne more than he even knows. But I remember him saying that the years of the Animal House where it was absolutely insane was 75 to 85. That was the time frame where it was just, because prior to that it was a camp.
Was it really?
Yeah. Prior to that it was a total camp. Companies used to interchange there.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy to think that in '93, think of all the work you went to? And that's not even in that guy's ball in his wheelhouse.
No. We were doing 6,000 runs a year, I think, 6,500 runs a year. They were doing over 10,000 runs a year at that time. And they didn't have 2 sections.
That's right.
That's a weird thing that those guys didn't have a second section there.
Yeah. But I think what I read somewhere was that the Warriors were earlier in Harlem and Brooklyn, and a little bit later on in the Bronx, like the mid 70s, it was still going on in the 80s, where in Brooklyn, it was slowing down in the 80s, but it was still rocking in the Bronx.
Yeah. Well, the vacant buildings, that was the big thing. And what made it so, when I first got there, so busy still was the crack. The crack epidemic was terrible. And as a matter of fact, I tell people, my whole first year as a Probie, and after that, until the crack thing got, Giuliani really cleaned things up. But
that fucking
with
guy.
75, our old Firehouse, the old, because now 75 is on Cameron Place. They're 2 blocks away. But the first, the old Firehouse was on Jerome Avenue, 183rd Street. When the doors opened up, 183rd Street was right in front of you. So if you had to go up to the Grand Concourse, you were shooting right out of Firehouse and going straight up 183rd Street. When the apparatus doors opened, at any point of the day, I don't care what, the way the wind always blew, everything blew into the fire. So potato chip bags, everything blew into the firehouse, including all of the crack vials. Now, you couldn't walk on the street in that whole area. You couldn't walk on the sidewalk without stepping on an empty crack vial. There was that much crazy. Yeah, that's the old firehouse.
That's the old. What's there now, Cap?
It's an EMS station.
Really?
Actually, that's a whole nother story. I'm really upset that it was nice to go into a brand new firehouse, but Dennis Devlin was the captain at the time, and the city, it was the worst living firehouse in all of New York City at this time. There's 2 different times where a rat jumped on me while I was on the house watch. but what's worse is there was and this was the straw that broke the camel's back. There was 12 guys that were on medical leave with flea bites from the rats.
Oh my gosh.
Rick Comiskey, great guy right there. He was captain in 33 when I was there, and then he became the 19th Battalion.
Prince was there, right? How was
Prince was there.
Somebody asked before, what's his name?
I totally just got off topic though.
Lindgren. That's all right. Garrett. Was Garrett there?
Garrett. So Garrett was assigned there. When I was there, he was still assigned there, and but he wasn't there. I don't know. I think he was in Rescue 3. Didn't he go to Rescue 3?
He might have been in 3 already.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
I haven't seen him in the chat in a while, Gary.
I think I brought his check home once or twice. He lived by me.
Yeah, that place, that was some place, man. Still, like you said, it's still, if there's work anywhere.
The Prince was my lieutenant when I first got there, and I was in Group 18. He was in Group 18. And John Halpin was in Group 5. And I told you, Jay Walsh, he was the other guy I went to from Probie school. We went to 75 together. He was in Group 5. So we only worked with those 2 officers. I always worked with either the Prince or John Halpin, and you couldn't have asked for 2 better officers. I mean, just it was great. The Prince was a character. Between the Prince and Berger, they used to nickname everybody. Everybody had a nickname. That was one of the things I wanted to. I actually wrote down all the nicknames.
Do it.
A bunch of them. Here's a handful of the nicknames from the Animal House: Lucky, Burger, Wayne Eye, the Deuce, the Ace, Mrs. Mellon, Circle, the Polish Prince, Sparky, Morty. You know Morty, right? Remember, Morty from Rescue 4? He was in 30.
Mikey Milner?
No, Morty. Dave Winthrop.
Oh, Winthrop was Morty? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Well, Prince gave him that name. So
Milner was 17.
The background behind that is his name is Dave Winthrop, right? Winthrop translating to Winthorpe from trading places.
Trading places.
Morty. Oh my God.
Mortimer. He
called Mortimer. Oh my God.
Mortimer.
We're back.
So that's the evolution of Morty.
I'm gonna hit him with that one when I talk to him.
Horsehead, the Swede, Delwood, and the Blue Falcon are the same person. The Goose, great fireman. That was Gary McClay, great fireman. K-Rock, White Rock, Shanny, O'Donnell, that's another story. Doc, we had the Good Roach and the Bad Roach.
Of course.
We had the Gimp, Hardball, that's Hardball Halpin, rest his soul. The Commish, Sven, Baby, the Pest, Panties, Ayatollah, the Icon. Oh, the Icon. I have another story about the Icon. Trigger, Frog Balls. Now, Frog Balls is the nickname that Prince called everybody.
Frog Balls.
Yeah, hey, Frog Balls. Big Bird, Little Ricky, Topper, and my favorite is Jay Walsh, who came to 75 with me from Probie school. He had no nickname. So the Prince called him No Nickname. That was his nickname.
Did he stay there his whole career? Or he got promoted.
Yeah, Jay he also went to 33, and then he got promoted and he went to lieutenant. He was a lieutenant in 59 engine for a long time.
Right.
He retired a couple years ago.
What you're leaving off that list is who are you?
I said that before. My name is Tim. Yeah. Yep.
So who was the guy you just wanted to talk about? There was a guy that you said.
Oh, the icon. That's Jimmy Dottie. Jimmy Dottie was a lieutenant, and again, I don't know. I can't stop saying this guy's the nicest guy. No, this guy's the nicest guy. You know, it's like one of the nicest. You know, John Iavolo, we all know, is the nicest fireman that ever was on New York City Fire Department. But the icon was Jimmy Dottie. Great guy. Every meal, every single meal. That was the best meal, guys. That was the best meal I ever had. Every single meal. That was the best meal I ever had. But my story about Jimmy Dottie, and this is, I'm going to make it, this is a very short thing, but I have a sister that I never knew about. And I found out about her because Jimmy Dottie grew up. He knew I never met my biological father. Another story, but Jimmy grew up with this guy. And when he first started working in my firehouse, I just happened to mention, did you know this guy, Tommy Diamond, who was from Parkchester in the Bronx? And he said, my dad and him are best friends. And so
get the fuck out of here.
And then he ended up dying. And when he died, I'm talking about my biological father, the guy I never met. I find out through the mutual friend with Dottie that I have a sister. And to this day, we have an unbelievable relationship.
Wow.
We met. She was living in North Carolina, but she moved back to New York when she found out. She knew nothing about me. I knew nothing about her.
Wow.
Timmy, that's a great story, man.
Oh, I walked her down the aisle when she got married. I was just at her house last weekend with one of her kids.
That's awesome.
And this is all from this guy that was working in your firehouse.
That was
Come on.
Yeah.
What?
Imagine if I didn't even work. If he didn't.
That's meant to be.
Exactly. He was covering at the time too. He didn't have the spot there. This is it is unbelievable.
Wow, what a special thing that is, man.
Yeah, it was very good. Me and him, that is a special thing. Me and him both share. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Wow. That's blowing my mind right now.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Wow.
So you get promoted in 2002, and you're assigned to the 3rd Division. That doesn't.
Yes, I went to the 3rd Division. I went to, but again, remember this is like shortly after 9/11.
Right.
So there were spots everywhere. So I probably did like maybe 2 vacations. I never was SA once. As a lieutenant, I was never ever SA, not even once. I went to 14 Truck, and I was there for I think 6 or 7 months UFO. But then that's when I ended up, Jerry Murtha asked me if I was interested in going to SOC.
This is when the band comes in, Roof. This is when the power of the band.
It's not the band thing. Listen, I know you all like to say that, but it's I like to say that I got to places on my own merit. And I say that
the guy did work 10 years at 33, the Animal House. I mean, it's not like
this makes a better story.
No,
I let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I like to say I got places on my own merit, but so where was
a lot of things about myself too.
Jerry Murtha,
right? So Jerry called.
I like to say a lot of shit about Gonzo too.
And I said, yeah, I definitely. Jerry knew that I was trying before the whole promotion thing, before 9/11. He knew that I was thinking about going to Rescue 4. So that's when he said, that's why he came out to me. Are you still interested in going? Because they needed officers. It was everybody needed everything. So I came. I went. John Norman called me at home, and he said I had to go to hazmat school first because I guess that's something that an officer has. You have to be hazmat trained before you can work in SOC. So I went right to hazmat school, and then I was covering in SOC. So it was definitely interesting because it was. I wasn't aware. I didn't know that officers could be not, like I thought it was guys that had to be in SOC before or whatever, but it worked out. It worked out for me. I was very happy. And then I saw Billy Walsh. Billy Walsh was the captain of 41. I had covered their vacation or something, and I pulled him aside one day and I said, listen, I don't care how long it takes. I said, but this is where I want to work. So I'm just letting you know that. I don't care how long it takes. I'll cover for as long as it takes.
What was it about that
This
place
is where
that
I
made
want
you,
to work.
what was it about that place that
I'll say this, Kev. I loved when I went to the 3rd Division to cover. It was something different. You know, Manhattan was, you know, because the 3rd Division is from like, I don't know what street it starts in, but like 65 Engine is part of the 3rd Division. So that is where I worked on one like vacation spot, or maybe it was just a couple tours. But it was interesting. You know, it was really cool to be out of the ghetto and in being inserted like that. But then I stood out. Now I'm working in 26 truck one day, and I'm like, you know, I feel a lot better here. I liked being in, you know,
shit?
and it was a lot of it was the buildings. You know, like you feel comfortable. I felt very, very, very comfortable in a 5-story walk-up. You know, the tenement to me is like a walk in the park, and that's where I felt really comfortable. Now I know I actually had a conversation with Kilduff about this. I understand the idea of, you know, diversifying, you know, going to different areas of the city and get, I get that. But I'm just saying how I felt when I came back to the Bronx, and I'm covering in 41 Engine or Squad 41. It just felt great. It felt like comfortable, and I was just happy to be there. And again, here we go again. Every freaking guy is awesome.
Right.
Every freaking guy that works there, you know. So,
and they do a shit ton of work.
And they were just rebuilding too, right? I mean, obviously they were just rebuilding everything too, right?
Yeah. I mean, they lost. Yeah. It was I was happy to be there, and I loved working in every squad rescue. I loved working in every part of the city and in those companies. It did. I will say I was a little uneasy at first because, you know, I don't know if guys looked at you and say, "Oh, this guy was never in SOC before" or whatever. But, you know, I just kept my mouth shut and just, you know, just did my thing, and it all worked out, and I got along with everybody, and you know, but going to 41 was just, I was really, really comfortable.
Was O'Toole was there? Oh, there he is. Speaking of,
so Timmy
O'Toole,
So when I the whole time I was UFO there, and then when I got there, me and Timmy were in the same group, and Timmy lives near me here, so we carpooled together. We were, you know, we always worked together. It was either Timmy or Owen McGovern that I was working with.
Oh, I love fucking Owen. Fuck another Owen. Fucking fuck you.
I tell you, yeah, my brother's Owen too.
That's Barrett, right? Is that Barrett?
That's so on all the way on the left. That's Scott Hickey, then John Barrett. The guy that's on the left that's cut off though that's Jerry Kennelly. I love working with Jerry.
Yeah,
I love working with a guy. I love working with a guy that's got an Irish accent.
Yeah.
And you know what maybe used to make me laugh is nobody can understand anything he said. Some Irish accents are stronger than others, and Jerry's from Limerick, and they have a very strong Irish accent, and sometimes people couldn't quite, you know, get what he said. And I remember we were at a job one time. We were coming down. Actually, I think we were just doing a secondary at a project in Manhattan. And Jerry's coming down the stairs. Somebody said, "Jerry, where are you?" on the radio. And what Jerry said was, "I'll be right down." That's what he said on the radio. But what everybody heard was French toast breakfast.
What?
So there was, I don't know who it was.
Fucking hilarious.
Mike Leo. I think it was Mike Leo.
Oh, Leo's funny bastard too.
Oh, he's
French
so
toast
funny,
breakfast.
man. He is so funny. I think it was either him or CC. I forget what was going to do. They were going to do a shirt. They wanted to make up a shirt. Jerry Kennelly is, you know, French toast breakfast, and on the back of it, I'll be right down.
I'll be right
down. French
Timmy,
toast breakfast.
Timmy, Mark Giannini Janutz is in the chat. He says Jerry only said "fuck" F-U-K.
Yeah.
Who was the guy in Rescue 1 who had the brogue all the time? Was it Cummins?
Oh, yeah.
He was another guy. You could never understand. He would be telling a story in the
man.
kitchen.
Have you ever heard the story of Eamon Killian?
I know. Who is it?
Do you know Tommy Killian? Tommy Killian was in 56 Truck. He was in the band. He hasn't been around a band in years. But Tommy's father was a battalion aide, I think, in the 3rd Battalion. I don't know. Yeah, it was the 3rd Battalion, I think. And I guess the dispatchers, they're at a job, and the dispatchers egging them, saying, "You got to give me. You got to. What do you got? What do you got? I need a size up at a building. I need a size up at a building."
Yeah, when they taught you, he ate a little bit. Yeah.
He says, "Oh, the size up." He says, "It's massive." That was his size up. It's massive. Send more lads.
Send more lads.
Send more fucking lads.
Yeah, I love working with a guy with that Irish accent. It's great.
That's true. I have to say that's not. It's a pretty good.
It's great to hear on the radio. I don't know, whatever it is, I love it. But yeah, great guys in 41, man.
How long did you have to wait before you got that call?
2 years.
2 years. So you bounced around stock for 2 years?
Yeah, it was 2 years. I covered for 2 years.
Right.
Roughly. This is as much as I can remember. Again, my memory is shot. But 2 years, and I was at the
rolled
Rock.
it in dirt.
I was at the Rock, and Billy came up to me and he said, "Time to go, Bubby." He always used that word, Bubby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're coming over, Bubby. And it's because of what you said to me 2 years ago. I think that's how I know it was 2 years. Because he knew I was waiting and I wanted to go there.
Wow.
So,
and a funny motherfucker too. That guy's funny as hell, man.
Oh, he was great. It was great working with him. I worked with 3 captains there. It was him, then Everett came, and then Larry Tompkins.
We're gonna have Larry on in a couple of weeks.
Oh, good.
Larry's one of my favorite guys too, man.
He's great.
You know what's funny, Cap? You had just said that you kept, like, when you first got there, you didn't talk much. You kept a low profile. So when Louis said, "Hey, yeah, we're having Tim Grant on," I'm like, I don't think I ever talked to that guy. And all the time, he seems like a really quiet guy. I don't know what good guess he's going to be. And who knows? Look at this guy. He's telling the funniest stories I've ever heard.
I know. Timmy.
Holy shit.
Good. I know. So, we didn't talk about this, Tim. When me and Ro in like the late 90s, we started like a wedding favor thing, Italian favors.
Oh, yeah.
And Timmy started an Irish.
You know what, Louis, I can't even go there.
All right.
I lost a freaking ton of money.
You lost a lot of money. I know.
Yeah,
all right.
We
tried to work that.
Bad business decision, but
I remember talking to him a lot about that.
Because only Guineas can make wedding favors, bro. The Irish can't make wedding favors.
Does she still do that or no?
No, we got it basically dried up. Probably like 5 years ago.
The whole wedding market thing is involved.
Yeah.
Now it's all T-shirts, baby.
Yeah,
let's go.
T-shirts.
Great guys in 41, man. I gotta, I could mention everybody there, but just Timmy and Owen. Those are the guys that drove me. So it was always work with them. They were.
Is that the guy? Owen was the one who went out. He moved out to Oregon.
He's out in Oregon. Yeah,
he was a great
his
guy.
wife's from originally.
Yes, he still sends me messages every once in a while. He watches the show.
I talk to him on the phone every once in a while.
Yeah. He was a good kid.
Great fireman. All the chauffeurs, man, were freaking. Yeah, everybody's great fun.
He was a chauffeur, right?
A chauffeur, yeah. Who, Owen?
Yeah, was he? Was he? Yeah. So I worked there. I covered there. It had to be him. I'm 99% sure. And we responded to. I was covering there for the tour. We respond to a gas leak. I think we're second due or third due.
Yeah.
And he hits the brake, and I open the door, and he goes, No. We don't get out.
Right.
I turn around. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, No, Lou, we don't get out. We don't get off.
That's the Bronx.
I'm like, bro, I got to get off. He's like, no, Lou, we don't. Over here, we don't do that. I understand, but we don't do that. I said, are you effing with me? He's like, no. I said, all right. When in Rome, do as the Romans, and I close the door.
Right. And that's exactly right. And you know what? I've had people argue with me. Oh, no. Listen, the right way to operate is the way that company operates.
Correct.
That's how you operate. As an officer, that would be a good tidbit for any officer. You go there, you operate the way the company operates.
Yeah,
That's
but he had to tell me like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, dude, I'm getting off. He's like, No, Lou, we don't do that here. You know, like it'll be like almost like disrespectful if you got off or something like that, I guess. So I said, all right, I'll stay on the rig.
No. You've been gone a while. Maybe you haven't heard.
Maybe he didn't get over that, but
Maybe
he was good, man.
I was golfing.
Sully was there too. Stevie.
Steve Sullivan.
Big chief. Sullivan was there, right?
Yeah. But I was golfing just last week with a buddy of mine. I golf with all the time. He's a Suffolk cop, and he said he's got two other guys that he was a cop with. So my buddy's retired now, but I'm talking to this guy Sean, and he says, I asked him where he worked as a cop, what unit he's in, or whatever, and he's telling me where he works, but he said that my buddy Kenny, when they worked together, he made my buddy's job easy. This is what my buddy Kenny says. That these two guys, they made my job easy. And I said the thing I said right to him back.
I know what you're going to say.
I worked in Squad 41, and every single guy in that firehouse made my job easy.
It make me look like a star. I used to tell him, you make me look like a star.
Yeah,
it's like Disney World.
It is. It's
I want you to start digging in China, but you can't use any tools. Use your teeth.
One particular person that was just
do anything for you.
The right freaking place at the right time was Mike Lindy. Mike Lindy was a great fireman.
He was a good fireman. Mike was a good fireman.
Every time when he was my, he wouldn't drive me that often because it was either Timmy or Owen because they were the same group. We were in the same groups. But every once in a while, I get Mike. So now we're at a job or something. I'm like, I need an extra. I was just going to say I need an extra hook, and Mike's right there. He was just always exactly
on point, baby, on point.
On point, man.
Lindy was he was I think he maybe allegedly could have been a Connecticut guy, but he hooked me up like he was like a seaport guy over there when I went on vacation.
Told
me where to go and do all that stuff at whatever that place is over there. I forget what the heck it is. Yeah. Everybody goes over there to look at the old ships and stuff.
Cap, when you came
Mystic.
When you first got into SOC, did it take you a while to adjust to the not first do mindset? Like it's a whole different mindset being in SOC, right? You coming in after the fact for the most point.
Well, that's a whole different mindset of operations, but in 41 we actually did have a lot of first do work.
You guys did over there, no doubt. Yeah.
So that was
that's a shithole over there. My goodness.
It was
still a shithole.
Pretty good. Yeah. But I got a lot of quality work there. Quality work. One of my worst nights was I don't know if it was all over the news that one night that there was like 8 or 9 kids that died in that fire. It was up by Yankee Stadium, off of it wasn't Ogden Avenue. It was Woody Crest. This fire on Woody Crest Avenue. It was terrible. It was like a brownstone building, and just like 9 kids died. It was terrible. That night though, we had 3 other jobs, so it was 4 jobs that were all kick ass. And I remember being the most spent. If anybody's listening to this that worked, going back to the whole point of reference thing, they worked back in the 80s in 75 engine. I know for a fact they're laughing at me because that's what they were doing every night. But
right,
it's okay. It's okay.
I'm comfortable with it. I'm
okay with it.
I'm very comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
I'm really comfortable being retired. I'll tell you.
I was just gonna ask you.
It don't suck.
No, it's great. It is good.
Timmy's like me, Coops. He's trips around the world. That guy.
Good for him, man. Yeah, man. Excellent. You get promoted to captain. You spent let's see. You were there. Oh, you were in 41 as a lieutenant for a long time, huh?
Yeah, I was there for like 9 years, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Shit.
I was quiet over there.
I was quiet.
I told you, the guy was quiet. You see the guy, he never talk, and look at his personality bubbling out of him. Rough, it's coming out of nowhere.
Oh, it was a great thing, and you know what? That's another place. It's changed again, but that was another place where a lot of the guys in those, we'll call it 9 years, for the most part, it was the same guys. We really had a great, especially how great is it? You go to a job and like. when guys are talking on radio, you know who they are.
Right.
Not only do you know who they are, but you know where they are because you know how they operate. You know, and how it's just. It was a great, going back to 75 and 33. That Firehouse, the day I got promoted, I went to remember in the kitchen, you had the, where the phone is, there'd be all a telephone list of everybody in the company. So it's a double house. So let's just say there's 50 people in the house, right? The day I get promoted, I looked at the phone list and I counted how many guys are still in the house now, the day I'm getting promoted, that were there when I went there as a Probie. And it was 25 guys. So it changed in the 9 years I was at 75 and 33. The house had changed by half, right? Half the house had changed. A year after I got promoted, I went back to 75 and 33 and looked at that same list, and it changed a half again.
Wow.
So what it took 9
year
years to do in the 9 years that I was there, in only 1 year, the half of the guys that were there from that changed. And that's promotions, that's guys retire and everything. And it's the same thing with 41. When I was there, we had, I would say it was me, Mickey, and Sean, almost the whole time as lieutenants there.
Sean Genovese?
Mr. Happy, I like to call him.
And Sean Genovese.
Try to get that guy. You don't want to come on, right?
Mickey went to Rescue 3, and then I'm forgetting my timeline here. I forget if Mickey went after I got promoted, or I think he went after I don't know.
I think he went after you got promoted.
He probably got yeah. So
he was there for a while.
Sean there for the whole whole time I was there.
It's continuity.
Mickey went. I think Mickey went to 41 a year before me because I was covering there. I was UFO, and 2 spots had opened. John Hogan got promoted, and John Flatley got promoted. Jack Flatley. So those were the 2 spots. So Mickey got the first one that opened, and I got the second one that opened. But I was UFO because John Hogan was on medical leave for a long time. So I was there for, I think it was 2 years UFO.
So I say all the time, like that. My best times was when, like you're saying, when you're working with the same guys. Like if I work with the same officers and I had the same guys working with me, there's a level of confidence that you have, and there's a level that you feel you make a huge impact at a job because you know where the other guys are going, you know what they're thinking. So I always say when there's certain group of guys work together all the time, those are my best times, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And, and I understand the other side of the coin when you get another guy in, and especially a newer guy, and you got, and you're trying to train that guy to be that next guy. Right. So there's that level of, it can't always be the same guys.
No. And with a new guy, now you have to think about him because he is new. And so he's also distracting you from what, maybe you would be doing if it was all guys that you didn't have to worry about at all because you know where they were going to be or what they were doing.
The normal.
I mean, even though I didn't work with, like, let's say Phil Zeiss, because I always work. Remember, I said I always work with Timmy and Owen, but every once in a while, Mike Lindy would drive me or Phil Zeiss would drive because those were the other chauffeurs. Phil Zeiss, another great fireman. Thank you for your service. Just a great guy, Jimmy Smith.
I would.
How are
you?
Yeah.
He was good, man.
He's a good fireman, great fireman. John Barrett was a great fireman, and so I remember he was so. Now he's like the seasoned veteran there, But I remember him just being the conscientious new guy that wanted to do every single thing right. And he did. He was always in the right place every time. He was learning. He was down in the basement building collapse simulators and doing. The guy was very, very handy. Scotty Altman, I loved working with. Mike Leo. I'm really sorry if I miss guys. I hope I don't.
Nah, it's gonna happen.
That's why I said everybody I work with.
I think a firehouse, like if you're a fireman, I know how it was for me, and you had the same bosses for a long time. When I say long time, 5 years or more, if you stayed in the same place or something like that, that was That was a positive thing for the fire. That was like a comfort thing. That was it was just a good thing because you had consistency, right? You knew the same. If you had a firehouse that the bosses turned over rapidly, I think that was where that the firehouses lose their identity a little bit. Where
there's no stability either.
Yeah, they just run into problems. Like you need guys that are there. If you had a captain that's in a place for 10 years or more, or a boss like Timmy, I was in 288 for 9 years, right? If you have a boss that stays there for that long, you actually see.
Look at Sean Genovese.
Yeah, I mean, forget it. Yeah, all of those guys. Look at Sarno. Sarno was in some. My cousin's in 132, 20 years.
Yeah,
he's in 132 truck for 20 years. I just was talking to him.
Yeah.
Is you ready to pack it in?
Yeah, he's ready.
It just reminded me of right when I got promoted to lieutenant. Obviously, I'm coming out of the 19th Battalion. 42 engine was in the 19th Battalion also. Roy Levesque was a lieutenant in 42 engine for at least 20 years. He retired, and I'm still in flips now. I know I'm not going to the 19th Battalion out of the coming. I'm not gonna. They're not gonna give it to me. But I went to the captain's. I think it was Herbie Penner. I think. And I told him, I said, listen, Cap, I know this spot's going to open there, and I know I'm never going to get it, but I am going to put my paper in just out of,
sheer luck.
Not sheer luck. It wasn't a luck. Just out of precedent. Just out of what's the word I'm looking for? Just out of principle, because the place was a great place. 42 engine. I worked there a lot. 75 engine when I first went there was a 4-man engine. Actually, 42 engine was the only 5-man engine. So we would get detailed there a lot. If we had 5 guys coming in, a lot of guys were always going to 42. So I got, the whole time I was in 75, you really got to know guys in 42 engine a lot. 43 and 59 worked there a lot too, but probably mostly in 42 because they needed that extra guy.
What did he say to you when you went there? Was he like,
what do you mean?
When you told the captain you're going to put the paper in for that?
He said, no problem, Timmy. No problem, Timmy, but I just told him, I said, it's just out of principle. Great place. I got to put my paper in. I know I'm not getting it. They probably didn't even look at it. They probably took that and threw it right in the garbage, but
nope. All right, so you get promoted captain now after you're there for a while. And you get sent to the 14th.
Right. So I went to the 14th, and I went and saw Chief Ferran, and he straight out said to me, are you going to go back to SOC? And I said, I have intentions on going back to SOC. So he said, well, I appreciate your honesty. And he said, I can't give you like a UFO spot or anything. I said, well, how about the R group? I said, I'll take the R group. He said, you want the R group? I guess they hadn't given anybody the R group in years there or whatever. And he said, it's yours. So now I'm working in 287, 136, 289, 138, like they're great companies. So I love, that was good. And I did that for 6 months. And then Downey called me and asked me if I wanted to come offline and do the Governor's Island drill. Louis, you were the logistics for that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For the SOC task force. So I came offline, and then it was a little kind of, Downey wanted to make me a logistics officer for the FEMA team, and then or the SOC task force, and then I'm losing my train of thought here. But I was doing planning for the Governor's Island drill. So the Governor's Island drill was, they took the Miracle on the Hudson, the plane crash. They redid the scenario and said, all right, it's the same exact scenario, but they're going to crash the plane on Governor's Island, a populated area. And at the time, Governor's Island was wiping away all these old military-based buildings that they had, all the residential buildings that they had.
2 or 3 stories. I forget what they were now.
Yeah, they were like 2 or 3 story residential buildings. So they wanted to recreate that plane crash and make it a 3-day drill. There was going to be a hazmat incident there. There was going to be dive incidents, mostly collapse. They were going to get the robots involved from hazmat. We had drones from the FBI. This was in 2014, so drones weren't there was no drone unit back then. Actually, that's kind of how it got started. But so I got involved with that, and that was working with the IMT. So that was 3 months.
That's right. You were with the IMT.
To get that. It was 3 months of planning, and that was cool. That was a whole different. I never did anything like that before, so that was cool. It was a different part of my career that was interesting and challenging. And you're a different rank now, so it just it was pretty cool. And then after that, Garrity said, "You're back," and then I started. Well, no, I had to be his XO for a year, and then I was back covering.
Were you were in the IMT? You were in the IMT?
No, I was never in the
IMT.
You
weren't?
No.
I thought you
were. But
it
was but that drill was specifically planned by the IMT and the SOC task force. Yep.
So you're bouncing around and had not many times did it. Well, Ralphie just did it though. He was lieutenant, fireman, and now he's captain. 288. Yep. So you go back. How long did wait? You have to wait to get to the cap. Well, you UFO in 41, right? You never got the spot.
Yeah, I went back. What you did? I gave you the year, right? I don't even know.
It just says
it was probably like 16, maybe.
It says 2013 assigned to 14th. 6 months later, back in SOC, and doesn't get
right.
UFO in Squad 41.
I was Garrity's XO for a year, and then I went and I did a couple vacations, but then I ended up back in 41. And then
I didn't realize you were there for that long. 9 years is a long time to be over there,
man.
And I was probably UFO as the captain there for over a year.
Whose spot was that? Who left when you went there?
That was Larry Tompkins.
Oh, Larry Tompkins.
Yeah.
It's a big house, man.
Yeah, so I was excited to be back, and I think even for a little while there, they were in with. They were renovating the house, so they were in with 60 and 17 for over a year.
What was that like?
It was cool. It was great guy. You know what? I love working with a lot of guys. Like it's dinner time. And you have
there's a lot of guys.
Ball breaking. It was great.
I do like that.
Those guys are great.
More personalities, more balls to break, more just a lot.
Yeah, I think if you're in a single engine and you only got 4 guys, people disappear. You could be by yourself.
One guy's on the watch, one guy's studying, and then
bosses in the office.
So going back to what I was saying about 42 engine, that's not how that house was. 42 engine, those guys were always together. It's actually interesting. That house is massive. There used to be 56 truck used to be in there years and years and years ago. So it's a big freaking firehouse, 3-story firehouse, massive firehouse, but just the one engine company, and they only ever really hung out in the kitchen. Their beds were in the kitchen. Everything was in the kitchen. And what a tight firehouse. If you weren't working, you were at the ski race. If the ski races,
that's a great place.
In that company was at the ski races unless you were working. Softball, same thing. They were all together. Their big thing was whitewater rafting. They used to do whitewater rafting trips.
One house, one mission.
Yeah.
God, let's go through some of the pictures we didn't get to. You're muted.
Oh, damn it. Sorry about that. I wanted to hear the story behind this one.
So there was the guy on the left there is Jimmy Graney. Great fireman. Probably been to Middle Day 4 times, I'd say. All freaking legit grabs he had. He's a great fireman. And you'll never see him wear anything on his jacket either because he's a humble human being. Jimmy was involved with acting, not necessarily acting, but he did like
extras and stuff,
extra work and stuff like that. But not only that, he owned like, I don't know, 50 or so, I don't know how many cars. He owned like 50 like old time cars and from all different eras. So the movies knew about his little business that he had going, and they like you know the movie The Bronx Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they rent your car or something.
It's set in a different time. You know, those are all his cars. Every car in that movie is his car.
Wow.
And so he used to do that with a lot of movies. But he also got involved with, you know, being an extra. So there was probably at one time, there was probably like 8 or 9 of us, maybe 10 of us, that we were extras in movies. This is at the filming of Die Hard 3. It was filmed, I think this was in Washington Heights. It was at a school, and there was apparently, you know, Bruce Willis had there was a bomb in one of the schools.
Oh yeah, yep.
This is where that was for Die Hard 3. It was a good little, you know, we would do it every once in a while, and what made it fun is that it was it was all these, you know, everybody together. I kind of felt bad for all the other people that were doing extra work because like they were all like struggling people trying to.
Yeah, you don't make much money. You don't
Yeah.
make much money.
No, but we were doing it as fun, and you know, we all, because we were in 2 movies. You know, I think the rule was you had to be in 2 movies, and then you could get
your card. Yeah, your SAG card.
We were all in SAG. So then we're all getting our headshots done and trying to get other movies. So we were all doing it when we did it.
Dude, that's hilarious. Like you never know like what guys are doing, right? Like in each Firehouse, there's so many different avenues, guys.
But what made it fun is because we all did it together. You know, that's what made it so much fun. You know, and it was that's me and Nicole Kidman. That was the Peacemaker. I forget what year that is.
She hot? Like really? Is she hot up close? Did you
Very,
sniff her
very
or
skinny.
anything?
Very skinny. Very thin. You know, the movies
Skinnier than you think.
Yeah, the movies does put weight on you. I think she was very thin.
Look at that guy with the chiseled chin there. Look at him.
Yeah, what is he?
Did you give it a sniff? Did you sniff her up there or anything? Nothing.
I no.
No, they were fun. Fun time. Actually, on that set, I did meet a girl and take her out on a date, and she ended up being a lush. I took her to some place in
Irish.
What's that place in Manhattan? What's that place in Manhattan that's right across from where the UN is? It's kind of like sits up high.
Sullivan's?
No. It's an area of Manhattan.
That's
where she lived. We were
Co-op City.
No, Co-op City.
I know
that. It's in the Bronx.
It's not Co-op City. It's what the hell's the name of that place over there? I know where it is.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's where she lived.
Right,
she lived over there. But we went to some Mexican place, and she got stewed, and she's getting up to go use the bathroom, bumping into tables, and I'm like, oh, she was like,
Stuytown? Is it Stuytown?
No, not Stuytown.
No, Stuytown's all the way downtown.
That's all the way downtown.
Shit.
What do you know?
What do you know?
Something town though. I forget the name of it. It doesn't matter. It's
Drunken Town.
Irrelevant.
It's Drunken Town. She was from Drunken Town.
Shantytown.
Yeah.
All right, guys, give me another one.
Here we go.
So I was in 41 there. That's when they were tearing down the old stadium. So they built the new stadium first, just north of the old Yankee Stadium, and then when they were done building the new one, they started tearing down the old one. So we got really tight with the safety company there. I can't remember the name of the safety company, but the guy there was top notch, and he always let us come in and, you know, just kind of watch how they were doing it. You can see how that section, like the whole row of seating, they're in sections, and they would cut the concrete, go all the way down. And then they put in see that crane there? They'd have like 5 or 6 of those things and a couple of excavators, and they would put cables on the cement and then pull the entire section into the middle until it just collapsed. And then they would, you know, demo it and carry it away. But that's how they pulled it.
Wow.
Pulled it apart. It was interesting.
Such a shame.
But it was sad. You know,
sad. It's a great stadium, man.
Yeah, it was a great stadium.
Did you grab any seats?
No, I did not grab any seats. I think Haven't asked me that before. I did not.
I got a couple from Shay. One, actually, one set. Remember if they had a pile like a mountain high? Were you there then when they tore them?
Yeah, I was off that day, and then guys brought a whole bunch back, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to take one," and then they were all gone. Everybody took
Guys for taking them. I just took one seat and one set of seats, and I put them together, gave it to my son. But guys were getting, fighting our bro.
Some of them a bitch.
Greedy bastards.
Oh, water rescue.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, that was
Swift water
training. That was in when you're going down 95 through, like going into Baltimore, and there's that huge bridge where you go over, I think it's the Susquehanna River, maybe.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
That's where that was. We were doing training on that river.
Little Mikey Wood in the corner of their roof.
Bro, that was one of the
that's
toughest.
Freddie Hill there on the right, and Mike Wood.
Wouldn't you?
That's some tough training, man.
Yeah. Yep. Not harder than the
somebody could actually die there. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
what was that?
Somebody could die at swiftwater training when you're doing that. There's no doubt somebody could die there.
It's no joke.
Right,
some people are not. Some people don't. So this picture is actually a little bit more recent. This is right after Joe Murphy, who's in the bagpipe band, passed away. This is right after his funeral. The guy right to my left, that's John Daly from Ireland. And Damien is all the way to the right. These are two guys that are in the Dublin Fire Brigade bagpipe band. We've been friends with these guys since I'm in the band. I mean, 30 years I'm in the band. So I've known this guy for 30 years. I met him right out of the gate. We've been great friends the whole time. And it's just it's nice to have these acquaintances, across the pond.
Who's the tall guy in the middle?
Good people. That's Tommy Canine. He's the Captain 75 engine right now.
Oh, all right. Looks familiar.
And then
is that the guy?
Duggan is now the Bronx, the Brooklyn Borough Commander.
Is that the guy who said that you said got on a plane from Florida to go back to Ireland, and then he found out somebody passed away?
Right.
And jumped back on a plane and came back.
Right. So John, the guy right to my left, he was in Florida with his family on vacation, and he flies home to Ireland, and he lands in the airport and gets a message that Joe Murphy passed away. He gets right back on a plane and flies back to New York.
Wow. That's a brother for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
For sure. Yep. While we're in the band.
Oops. So the band used to go to Ireland every other year. Billy Hopkins is the guy with the suit on in the back there, or the jacket and the shirt. He used to organize these trips every other year for the band. And this is 1997. This particular year is the year that we went in memory of Jim Corcoran. It was kind of like a in memory of Jim Corcoran trip to Ireland. So we went to Scotland first, and we competed in the World Bagpipe Championships in '97. And then we were only in Scotland for 3 days, and then we came back to Ireland. And then I decided to propose to my wife on Eclipse of More there. So that's that picture.
Nice.
And in this picture,
it's like Liam all the way over there on the right.
It is Liam.
There's the guys that are no longer with us.
Bronco's there.
You got left to right. You got Billy Duffy, just passed last year, and Tommy McEnroe Sr. has his hand on my shoulder there. Behind my head there, that's Joe Murphy, who's passed. Jimmy Ginty died a couple of years ago. Bronco is passed, and the guy next to him is Tommy McTeague Jr. That's Tommy McTeague's son.
Oh, that's his son. Looks just like him, man.
That's half the guys, man.
Yeah, sad.
Crazy.
It's sad that it's like, this is it's part of your family. The fire department's our family. The band is part of our family, and it's sad to see. But that's life.
Yeah.
That we move on.
I got to say, congratulations. You're a part of the I Married Up Club, too, just as I am and Louis is. So good for you, Cap. Good job. The I Married Up Club. What else you got? Oh, some hockey. Nobody cares about hockey.
That's
not
Nobody cares about hockey. Nobody cares about it.
What's that?
It was on
Is that
rerun,
Burger
sorry.
on the right?
That's Burger. Yep, on the bottom on the right. And then Dennis Devlin is in between me and Burger. Dennis was my captain. Dennis, he got promoted to battalion chief right before 9/11. And he ended up dying on 9/11. Now, this is kind of a crazy story, but September 11th, we were down there. I was at my firehouse, and we all loaded in the back of my pickup truck, and we went down there after, we got down there around 3:00 in the afternoon, and we were doing our thing, searching on the pile the whole night, and then the next morning we go back to the firehouse. As soon as we get to the firehouse, there's a call from Dennis Devlin's wife to the firehouse. She's saying that she has Dennis on the phone, and he's trapped, and he's under the footbridge, and that he wants a turkey sandwich and water, which is something he would have done. Like, I could pick. Dennis was he was an iron worker, not an iron worker. He was a sand hog, freaking, larger than life human being. He was a great captain. But we were all like, this is like crazy. She's got him on the phone. So now everybody's getting it. Now we're getting back in, and now we're driving back down. We had just got back. We're driving back down there now, and we're going under the footbridge. Now we're trying to get communication with his wife. Like, what is there any more information? She's still on the phone with him. What's going on? This is we're talking about less than 24 hours after, or no, just over 24 hours after the collapse. So, there was no more communication, no more nothing. And when we find out, I don't know if we found out that night or the next day, what happened was Jimmy McCluskey, who is Dennis's best friend, had Dennis's cell phone in his back pocket, and he was at a deli ordering a turkey sandwich and water.
Oh my
somehow God. Redial must have, so the phone, Dennis's cell phone is called the wife in Jimmy McCluskey's back.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was such
a craziest story.
Such a really weird.
I don't think I ever heard something like that. That's crazy.
Like there was such a window there that we had hope. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was so early. You don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Did they ever wind up finding him?
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say I actually.
No, I don't. Listen, Tim. We don't fucking remember half this shit either, man.
I don't remember.
It's a lot of time. It's all a blur.
In fact, I had a lot of guilt with his funeral. I remember when they finally had his funeral with the bagpipe band. We're trying to play at all these different things, and I believe it was Dennis. His funeral was the same day as Tommy Foley, and I was good friends with Tommy, and I had to go to the beginning of one funeral, and then leave, and then to get to the end of the next funeral, and I was guilty that I wasn't at both for the whole thing, but
you guys were spread thin back then, bro. Oh my God.
Man. Yeah. Wally Blum, talk about, does everybody know Wally?
174 truck. Yeah.
Wally Blum, he was always at the Rock, and he did. So I had gotten in touch with Wally, and while I asked him if we could get vans for the band so that we could, spread out guys going to all the different funerals. And Wally gave us 5. He was the guy in charge of getting vans out to companies and everything. So he got us 5 vans, and there were 2 on Long Island, 1 upstate, and 2 in the city. And that's how we got guys to go to all the different funerals. I mean, we had a department van to do it. But
wow, I still can't believe that story.
And you got 2 of them, Ross. You got the one with his sister, and now this one.
What's that?
You got 2 crazy stories. The one where you met your sister, and now this one.
Yeah.
Would have known this would have been such a crazy show tonight.
Oh, I knew.
You knew. I was
I
a
know,
little
I
like,
mean,
well, the guy never said hello to me. Now,
Well, when you're at 75 and they 33, and then, you don't talk to the mere pittance on the job. You know what I mean?
is that how that works?
Maybe.
So maybe I'm lucky that you still talk to me, a big 103 guy, big 290 guy.
Hey, how you doing?
Can we do a?
We can do
Oh,
whatever
yes.
you want, Cap.
I'd like to toast to Tony Mistrelli. Tony passed away. His funeral's this Wednesday. Great guy. I went to college with him. We both were in Cortland together. I played football my first year while I was there. He's the only guy that remembers that I even was there. But a great man, a great human being, a teddy bear. We're all going to miss him. Such a great guy.
And he just retired too, huh?
Yeah.
What did he have? He had cancer. What did he have?
Pancreatic.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That sucks. I'm going to give him the 5 bells line of duty.
Wow, it's crazy.
Another one. You got some other shout outs, Roof?
Well, hold on. We got to get the guys.
Oh, my goodness. Right.
Come on.
What is that again?
You know what time it is?
What time is it?
It ain't time for shout outs. I can tell you that much. It's time for.
It is time for the old school tip.
Of the day.
Day. All right, Cap. Now you can take it away.
Old Skip. Tip of the day. All right. Well, I hope that you never ever have to give a Mayday, but this was a tip that was given to me. I think actually Liam Flaherty might have given me this tip 25 years ago. But practice giving yourself a Mayday. Whether in your car on your way home from work, on your way to work, go through the whole thing. You want to be concise in your Mayday if you ever have to give one for yourself. So make sure it rolls off your tongue without you even thinking. I know it's a lot easier to say, but I think it's a good practice to every once in a while just practice giving yourself a Mayday. That's number one. Another little tidbit. This was I'm going to go back to Dennis Devlin. This is more for the officers, but Dennis Devlin, when I was in 75, we had an operation one day where I don't even remember what we did, but it was something that it didn't like we weren't going to get a unit citation or anything like that. But Dennis wrote a nice note to all the guys that worked that day, and he pinned it up in the kitchen. And you know what? To me, that felt better than getting a unit citation, that he just, acknowledged the job that we did at this particular job. So I always remembered that little tidbit. And I'm not going to say what company because there's some other stuff involved, but I did that one day. We had an operation it was in Manhattan, and I wrote a note. The guys did a great job, not a unit citation. They just did a great job. And I just wrote a note. I put it up in the kitchen. I was a covering officer. But I got to tell you that those guys that were working, they respected that so much. And any time I ever worked with them again, I can't even explain it. Like these guys they felt, that it was the right thing. And it wasn't a unit citation, but it meant more to them. So, give the guys, sometimes less is more, and I always said it's the little things. The little things matter the most. And one last thing is communication. I think everybody probably always brings up communication, but if we lose communication, everything falls apart. So we want to always keep our reports concise. Concise is really the key. That's the key to keeping the information good. And have big ears and a small mouth. somebody yelling on the radio, I always feel it causes havoc. So big ears, little mouth. You got to say something. You're obviously going to say it, but say it calmly and say it concisely. And that's all I got.
All right.
Ruff, I told you before that there was 2 guys, and the other guy was your former captain from Tower Ladder 117. Captain Flood passed away last week too.
Yes, I heard he
had
a stroke.
I'm going to give him the 5 bells. They said it was a line of duty. All right, Ruffy.
All right, guys. I do. I have 2 quick shout outs. You got the GoFundMe there?
Which one do you with the baby?
The baby, yeah, baby Kira.
I pulled up a picture of.
Oh my God!
All right, so this we get quite a few of these, but some of them just stick out to me. This is Timmy Sullivan from 108 Truck sent this to me. Just a member of the company. Obviously, it looks like they're already reached a goal, but just something to take a look at. I guess had a tough time since the daughter was born a couple months ago. Emergency C-section. She's up in Boston now, receiving specialized care. So he had sent this out to me to give the guys a shout out for 108 Truck, and if you can help out. It's
every little bit counts, brother. Just
fundthefirst.com, and it's help baby Kira Adams. And then
I'll post it in the chat.
Thank you. And then I have my boy Bobby Bonhomme. Yeah. Oh,
that one. Sorry, my bad. There you go.
Yeah. So, Humble Heroes. These guys, they were on the show. I think it's probably like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh shit! I remember him.
Yeah, he gets dressed up, and he goes to the hospitals, to the pediatric ICU at St. Luke's Hospital. They partnered with Heart 9/11 Foundation, and they basically do a lot of great stuff for these kids that are really at, I guess maybe don't have much hope. So he's always done this. He always sends me the pictures all the time. He did say, hey, if you could go to their Humble Heroes. I think it's what's the website? Right HHFDNY.org. And if you donate, right now they have a donor who has pledged to match all their donations within the next 100 days. So he was pretty excited about that. So, he always sends me the stuff. I always enjoy around this time. He goes, to visit the kids during the holidays. So, he does a great job, man. Good for him. Doing the Lord's work.
That's it, baby.
Yes.
Guns, we got to play the last 2 commercials really quick.
Yes. All right, here we go. New Jersey Fire.
Established in 1930 and under the current ownership since 1987, the New Jersey Fire Equipment Company handles a complete line of fire department equipment and supplies. Headquartered in Greenbrook, the company operates full 3M Scott service facilities in Ridgefield Park and Toms River, staffed by 10 fully authorized Scott certified technicians with a fleet of 6 fully equipped service vans. All New Jersey Fire technicians and sales representatives are active or retired firefighters, officers or chief officers, career and volunteer. They understand the business and the importance of their work. New Jersey Fire has represented Scott since Earl Scott entered the SCBA business at the end of World War II. Among other leading manufacturers represented by New Jersey Fire are Globe and Firedex Turnout Gear, Mercedes Hose, Task Force Tips and Akron Brass, Hygenol, Firehooks, Arctic Compressors, MSA Carnes Helmets, ChemGuard Foam, Alkalite and Duo Safety Ladders, BA Face Shield Protectors, Truckman's Choice Saws, Grove's Gear Racks and Washer Dryers, Supervac Fans, RPI, Streamlight, and many others. A New Jersey incorporated and based company, sales and service are limited to the state of New Jersey. Find us now at www.njfe.com. That's www.njfe.com.
All right. One more. Here we go.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
And tonight's health and safety old skill tip of the day is we always talk about we were just talking about this in the pre-show, right, Cap? Getting early detection with Rob Brown, going to get everything taken care of. But we always speak that, me and Lou. But what I'm going to tell you also is very important because it happened to my dad. Before, God forbid, they do pick something up on you, you need to get your finances in order, as in an insurance policy for your wife and kids, because after they pick something up, it's a hell of a lot more difficult to get that insurance policy once you have something that's diagnosed. So get out there and get yourself checked out early, but also take care of your wife and kids and get the insurance policy before they diagnose you with something. And that's all I got. Cap, thank you so much. Great stories, great career. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Ruffy, thanks for finding this gem here. Good for you.
I know how to do them. I know how to find them.
Yeah. And don't forget to send your stuff, please, for the Cup of Joe and Fuego, Kubas Podcast at gmail.com. That would be you, Mike Rapcavage. I saw you in there. Keep sending them in. I just got something from Tivadar, Ruff. Remember Tivadar?
Nice. What are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
That'll be playing on the next show. All right, we'll see you guys next week. All right? Until then, you know what I always say. Stay low and go.
All right, everybody. Timmy, thanks a lot. We'll see you at the big one, everybody.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the top floor this time. How about that?
What top floor you going? Come on.
Yeah, I don't have a top floor. It's right here. Anyway, all right, guys. Good night.